All right, so we look at this camera here that's like on the left. And
Shalom. Welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, together with my co-host Mark Kronich of Statewide News Service and jbiztechphilly.com. We have a very, very special guest with us, Mr. Larry Zimbler of the Small Business of Albany. Larry, welcome to the Jewish View.
Thank you for having me on.
Explain us, to me for sure, I don't even know what it is, but I'm sure our viewers do not know also, what is your association of the small businesses in Albany?
Well, I'm the president of Libertex, a local IT service company servicing small businesses with their technology needs going back to 1991. About 8 years ago, we partnered with Microsoft to introduce the idea of a local event targeting small business owners to help them run their businesses, whether it be with technology or services or knowledge. And that was the beginning of smAlbany, the event. And that was about 8 years ago.
Albany, but you haven't reached out. It's not like Syracuse, Rochester. It's just to Albany.
It's small business, Albany, smAlbany.
And you've been doing this for 8 years now?
Yes.
Wow.
This will be our 8th year doing it, and we've had wonderful partners through the years. We've been working recently with the SUNY College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering, which has recently merged with SUNY IT.
In Utica.
That's
Yes.
correct, and it's now one organization. And their location on Fuller Road is where the event will take place. It will take place July 17th from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon.
And it's free.
We have a free or a VIP. You can
Right.
go either way.
The VIP,
free is fine.
yeah.
VIP if you want some extras.
If you want food,
But,
if
yeah.
you want better parking.
A little better parking, and you get some. You get a workbook, and you get raffles that are set for the VIPs. But free's fine. We're not pushing the VIP. Whatever you want.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
So
and
that's $50 for the...
If you want to do VIP, it's
VIP.
50. If you
We're
want,
not
you
talking a major
no.
commitment. Yeah.
The big commitment is a day of your time. That's why we do this event in July, because it's typically the time before the track season starts, when a lot of businesses are in their quietest time. And many business owners don't have the time to step away from their business to work on the business because they're always working in the business.
Well,
And this is on a Thursday, July
It'll be a
17th.
Thursday from 8 in the morning till 4 in the
So
afternoon.
what would, let's say I'd be a small business owner, I'm in charge of a nonprofit organization, but in any case, what would you tell me I'm going to gain by spending a day of my time by your conference?
Well, there's 3 major areas we're focusing on this year. We're focusing on work-life balance, and we're focusing on businesses, helping other businesses. We call that business for a business, and we're focusing on innovation. Now, let me tell you why those 3 things are important. Business owners are really burnt out these days. They're just overwhelmed with trying to take care of increasing compliance problems, the economy, and all kinds of issues that are really dragging it and making it hard. 2008 was a recession, and in many ways things haven't really recovered for the small business owners since then. In fact, if I go back, there have been no new jobs created outside the government sector going back to 2001, total
Really?
jobs.
I never knew that.
Yes.
That's
Now,
a
small
thing.
businesses, there's been losses of large companies, been laying off lots of people. And the big companies have had to absorb these people. So small businesses are really working very difficult times because they're trying to have their employees, which are almost like family most of the time. They're trying to make them, the business succeed in a very difficult time. So July, we do an event. We do it every July at that quiet time, and we say, step away from your business for one day and see if you can learn some things that you can bring back for the balance of the year to end 2014 in a strong way.
So some of the topics that you have for discussion are 5 ways corporate wellness will increase your bottom line, fitness together, there's balance, hard or easy, it's your choice. They have train your mind to work for you, cerebral sports you call it. maximizing your daily route. You're giving that one.
Yes, I am.
So talk about that one.
Well, you've got to make a nickel do the job of a dime. And time is the biggest, most valuable resource we all have. So in the work-life balance, what we're trying to do is find ways where you can accomplish what you need to make your family happy, be well, and be professionally successful. And in the point that you ask, one of the best ways to do that is to really look at your daily route between where you start your day, where you go to work, and the route to and from work. And optimize that with vendors and clients along the way so you really can grow your business and do it in a way that's going to get you home to have dinner with your family.
Well, CDTA is not going to be happy with you for saying that because that's not a mass transit concept.
Well, whether you're traveling by using bike to be green and have good exercise, or you're taking mass transit, or you're taking a car, you still have a route.
Yeah, but
that
mass
route
transit takes so much longer. I mean, I went from my house to the Slingerland's Price Chopper, and that's something and I went shopping and then came back by bus, and it was a 2-hour time commitment. Whereas when I take my car, it's less than an hour. So the buses are not time efficient. You know.
But if you go on a bus, you pick up some other things. You might be able to pick up your communications and get those calls you need done. You might be able to get on the internet and do the work you need to do or the studying. So there is a balance.
Okay.
But everyone has their own route. And if you find things along the way that are going to enhance your value, in the case of the bus, maybe you get off the bus or stop early, accomplish something and get back on and finish it.
Right.
There's still optimization to be done there.
Okay, but an automobile is probably the most efficient when you talk about a route, because you can certainly get to more places in a more efficient
I would say
time.
that an automobile is probably the most common case, but you brought up the other case, so I did want to tell you that this is universal.
Okay.
As long as you have a place you start and a place you end, you have a route. And many people are even working out of their own house, which in many ways is really compressing that.
Larry, you're not making money on it, obviously, because...
No, it might be.
This is a service that we have provided to our clients, and the biggest reason that we have done it is because knowledge empowers business owners to change the way they do business. But getting that knowledge can be very expensive. So what we've done is reached out to local and national experts to come in so that the business owner has a convenient place to come. If they can focus for that one day, they can really leave and make a good profit for their time.
But you're not paying, I mean, this isn't costing you personally.
This costs money to operate. There's a lot of expenses.
Yes, and then you get corporate sponsors to pay those expenses.
Hopefully.
Right.
We all hope to break even.
Okay, so there has been a less than positive balance on the spreadsheet?
We've had some years where we've laid out money in order to make it work. We've had some years we've had a little surplus.
Okay.
I'd say on the whole, if you consider the time
Yeah.
that is involved in operating it,
Yeah.
it's more of a labor of love than it is a profit experience.
Okay.
Yes.
So then you also have work-life balance, tips and techniques, careers and transition. Bootstrap your startup, and web design, how to save time and money. It's always good. Innovation, how will it grow your income? Upstate New York premiere of new product, Poly Innovations.
That's correct. That's the name of, there's going to be an upstate New York launch of a brand new technology that will be very helpful for all businesses, including small businesses, and will reshape the way education is held in the classroom, and I also believe for businesses, the way that they educate their staff.
And do you want to give us any other insight into that?
I'd go a little deeper. I'd like to save something for the launch, but the basic idea is this. Rather than you going into
We
a
get the exclusive.
You can get the early peak. Get the early peak. The early peak on this is, rather than going to the classroom and trying to multitask, which is not a very good tip for process for productivity,
Right.
wouldn't it be great if you could really focus on what the teacher's doing and all the notes and everything that everyone says is gathered up digitally, put into a file that you can then listen to later, gets translated into words, and can also be translated from different languages into words so that you have text and you're not struggling to take notes. You can focus on what's really going on. And that's what that particular tool does. And I think that that's helpful not just for an academic situation. I think that's very helpful for trying to educate employees on new techniques and building innovation within companies.
And how is that different from what people who can't really hear on the telephone and then they have the words typed out for them on a little screen on the phone, different from what you just described?
Well, the biggest difference is in what you've described, that gives some benefit to that one individual person,
Yeah.
but it doesn't allow the person who's teaching the class to manage the process,
All right.
build a file, engage people after the fact. Plus, it doesn't leverage the various microphones that are in the classroom.
I see.
With this technology, if you run the application on your phone, that microphone on your phone then becomes the input into the master file. Someone's in another corner, they're there, they just leave their phone on the table with the app running, that microphone is in it. So it becomes the set of information.
So there's an app for this too?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. It does have an app. It has
There's
a
an app
central.
for that.
Yes, it has an
Okay.
app for that.
Then the last program is...
And
yes.
from an affordability point of view, you may think this sounds like expensive technology.
Not at all.
Very affordable to even the smallest of businesses.
Sure.
And that innovation will be launched in upstate New York at this event.
Okay, looking forward to it, at 2 o'clock. Okay, then you have EAP programs, why your company needs it. What are EAP?
The idea of the EAP programs, this is going to be operated by a panel, that particular one, is patients need advocacy and employees should help their employees, employers should help their employees to have good health care.
And what does EAP stand for?
Employee Advocacy Program.
Oh, okay.
Now, the point of that is, how often is a worker or a business owner thinking a good portion of their day, what I've got to get home in order to take care of this family member because they have needs, or I'm worried because this family member has an issue that has to be addressed. That takes away from the firm's productivity. So it's in the employer's best interest to have systems in place where not only are we talking about the health and wellness of the workers, but also their families and loved ones. Because that way they can be focused on what they have to do, which is be innovative. Because it used to be that innovation was nice for some companies and it gave them an edge and that was great, but those days are gone. Every company has to have some system for innovation, else in today's economy, they're going to be left behind. And even the smallest business that makes the simplest things should have a system that manages their innovation in order to be successful.
Wow, that's
You know,
very
I
well
just-
said.
I
No,
really-
that
yeah,
really
no,
is.
it's excellent.
What is your background? What,
My background?
not just the IT background, but where did you go to college? Where did you...
I went to SUNY Albany. I have a degree in math from SUNY Albany. I have a degree in economics from SUNY Albany. Then I went to RPI and I got my master's in business administration. Then I had been managing a technology business. I was the general manager, and I started my own service business at that point when I was done with that schooling. I picked up a Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer along the way. And in the world that we live in, it's constant education, where we're probably spending 15% of our time in some form of training, picking up additional certifications. That's a little bit about my educational background.
Oh,
But you know, just a few things. One, you're getting me so excited. I say I'm in charge of a nonprofit organization. Do you have nonprofits going there? Do you think it would be helpful?
You know, some people ask me the question, what is a small business? What's the difference between a small business and a big business? And I like to say The difference is really very simple. In a small business, if you make a mess, you clean up the mess. In a big business, if you make a mess, it's someone else's job to make up the mess. And although that's a nice, funny story, in many ways it's very true. That accountability issue, that issue of being lean, that issue of making a nickel do a job of a dime, is really what distinguishes successful small businesses from their enterprise peers. In many ways, their enterprise peers look for those cultural items and want it in their business and struggle with the issues that you have from a large business. Don't do that because that's that person's job.
Yeah.
Don't do that because if you do it, that person won't have a job.
Right, I heard
So
that.
it's
That's
that
a government-
mindset.
That's a government mindset, by the way.
Well, that's probably the largest enterprise there is in that sense. So if you have a successful nonprofit, I would make the argument your culture is probably not much different than a successful small business, and the choice is whether you want to be in a situation where you're focusing on the politics to be successful, or whether you're going to be in a situation where you're focusing on innovation and productivity and getting everybody to work together to do something that hasn't been done before. And our focus is on the second case.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, actually, I go to the first question I asked you. Again, it sounds so good. Why do you continue with Albany? It's something that I would think any city would be good for. Why do you only limit yourself to Albany? Any city, New York, really United States? It
In
sounds
other
like
words, why don't you
something-
license it out and make it happen in other areas without it costing your personal time because you have a business to run?
I understand. In my particular case, I'm trying to manage a good work-life balance.
Right.
So I'm looking to optimize this in this area. As we do it, hopefully we'll pick up better best practices, and there will be people that come along that have the initiative and want to do things with it. And if that's in the stars, so be it. But many businesses like you're describing, I find they just want to get it started enough to then cookie cutter it and do it all over because they're trying to roll it out. We're trying to do something that helps our local small business clients. That's our goal. Since that's our goal, from our point of view, the idea of bringing it to other cities is a secondary goal, not the primary.
It just sounds so good. You're doing such a good job.
Well, I hope that you can attend.
I would like to over here. I would think you're getting me excited over here
And
about
if you
attending.
go ahead and you move it on to another city, you can't call it smAlbany.
You'd have to call it small business
Unless it's-
Saratoga or something.
Right.
You know, I
or
was
you
gonna
have
ask-
something where you have
I've heard,
Oregon, California
you know-
that has Albany's, and you have 8 Albany's, so you could do it another Albany.
Well, during the social media boom, there's a lot of startups that came out and they're rolling out across the country.
Right,
And the name is a name.
Right.
It's a recognizable, easy to understand, simple name,
Right.
and that's why we picked it. But really what we're focusing on is improving our daily productivity and getting more out of life. It's really what we're there for.
You know, it's interesting. I was thinking about, because a lot of people, even derogatory term, well, you're in smAlbany. And you're saying it is obviously a very complimentary idea, but I think that idea is really the focus of what you're saying, because I'm even trying to say it's big and it's tremendous, let's expand. And you're saying, no, here is something very special. And people coming from New York City, like, oh, this is a small, this is a small town. You look
Okay.
at New York City. But that's exactly, I think, really what the point is. The people in New York City, or even myself, oh, why don't you expand all over the country? Maybe because our group is also expanding. It's not my personal expansion, but the whole group is expanding all over the world. But it's just like you're saying, no, that's a compliment. smAlbany, we want small businesses to grow from the grassroots. It's really what made America great. It's just the small little businesses starting off doing their own thing, but I mean, a lot of times they do mushroom into a greater corporation. Have you seen that in Albany, or it's just so small?
Well, I would take your point and extend it. I would say successful small businesses are sustainable, and that's the key. If you run a business, but you end up with a heart attack, or you have no other life, what did you really get? But if you can have a balance between business, personal life, and your health, then maybe we really have something. And that's what employees are looking for too, because they want to be part of that so that they can have a similar experience. I'm from New York City. I could have that mindset that you describe, which is, let's roll this thing out. But what about the quality of the experience? What makes smAlbany great is the fact that you can sit across a table in a relatively large metropolis, but have a conversation and find out that the person you're talking to is the exact referral that you need and you didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. That's what makes smAlbany wonderful. That's what makes it a positive thing. Our infrastructure is so great. To a great degree, it's because we're the capital. So there was more roads and other infrastructure here for relative to the population. But because that was so good, we have the ability to really connect on a much deeper level than somebody who is, let's say, in a large city like New York City, where they might not even know people that are 5 floors down from them and have lived there their whole life.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask, who put this program together, the different topics, and who chose?
We had a team.
You had a team.
And the 3 of us worked together. And we thought we'd really focus on the work-life balance as our main core message, because everyone's just so overworked.
Okay.
We had so many innovative ideas that we wanted to come out. That's what brought out the innovation. And the business for a business, it's just a classic evergreen topic, and we wanted to have it.
And what about the public relations marketing aspects of it? I don't see that in here unless I'm missing something.
Well, I think you have a press kit there. If not, we'll send you the press kit.
No, I don't have a press kit, but I just downloaded this off the website. But it doesn't look like there's a PR marketing component to these lectures.
Right. So if you took it off the website, what we'll do is make sure you have the press release set, because that was sent out to the various press channels. The relationships with the press, combined with social media, combined with radio, we're working with clear channels to get the message out.
Right, but
is our press message.
No, what I'm talking about, not so much your press message, is what about having a session on telling the business owners how to deal with the media and how to deal with their marketing and public relations?
If you like that idea and you'd like to participate, we could talk about that offline.
I see.
I think that's an interesting conversation. We wanted to focus on operations this year.
That's what it looks like.
A little bit less in the marketing, because there's a lot of marketing options.
But I think telling people how to get into the newspaper and how to present themselves in front of a camera is very important in terms of how they, in terms of their operations, and how people know about their company, and will improve, and quality people will then gravitate towards a certain company, and it'll be improving the operations.
Improving one's marketing does raise the C so that there's some cash flow increases, and it improves everything. That's an additional topic. We focused on that in the past, and this year we're a little bit more in the operations end. Okay. But if you'd like to roll up your sleeves, we'd love to work with you.
Mark's our man already. He's our media man.
I have a media survival kit that I've created.
If you can package it as a workshop, then I think we might
have something to talk about.
We have something to talk about.
Larry, actually, I appreciate it a lot what you're talking about, because of course I deal with many members of the Jewish community, to say the least. And personally, I say the Sabbath or comfort services. Oh, I'm too busy. And then I see they confide to me their personal problems, and like you say, their marriage or their kids are going down the tubes, and these people are very successful out in the world, and they're missing a major component in their lives. Well, they're super successful and they're making money, high salaries, but if you don't have a marriage and you don't have a family, then and like you say, you don't even have your health. So what was it all for? What did you achieve? And I think the major word, and what you're saying also, is the balance. You want to make a good living, but and you want to have a good family life also. So that balance is, I think, very important what you're trying to achieve.
Thank you. And without the balance, it's not sustainable. That's the point I would add to what you're saying, because we can all shoot, but we don't want to be a, one-trick pony. If you're trying to build a successful career, you have to get everyone involved, your family members and your body and your motivation to get where you want to go.
Who set up the speakers for this seminar, for this day-long seminar?
Well, what we did was we had a session, and it was operated by a facilitator where we came up with topics, and then we reached out to experts that we knew who could cover those topics and brought them in.
So I'm wondering about the Amy Imler. She's a retail registered dietitian for ShopRite.
Absolutely.
Why her over, let's say, a Price Chopper dietitian?
Because we reached out to her, and she responded in a timely fashion and said that she would participate.
Okay.
There's so much time in the day,
Right.
and we reach out, put out a wide net.
You do.
And you work with who responds and wants to have interest with you, and we'd love to partner with all people on the subject. What's good about her particular contribution as a registered dietitian, she'll be able to make specific recommendations to people that come by her table about their own needs and point to what they can do to change and improve their lifestyles so they have the energy to be productive.
Well, I'm going to look forward to seeing her because I need some of that energy.
I'll tell Amy you're coming.
Okay. Besides your workshop, which other of these excite you personally as a small business owner?
I think what excites me is being able to take 8 hours of time, have different subjects come in, and not leave feeling overwhelmed. And that's what we've really worked so that at the end you should feel more energy and be excited. And in this case, if you want, you can leave with a checklist so you'll actually establish goals between taking a self-assessment so that you can figure out what areas you want to grow. Maybe I want to work a little bit more on the health. Maybe I want to work a little bit more on the family. Maybe I want to work on this part of my business. Meet the people there that can help you with that specifically, establish goals, then end the year better, then come back next year, bring the booklet, and compare what you've achieved in the last year,
Right.
and set new goals. So it's that continuity and not being overwhelmed with information that excites me the most.
But which one of these seminars would you go to, would you get excited about and say, I got to go to this because this
There's
is...
just too many. It's like, which one of my children
Is it?
would I want to go to for a holiday dinner? It's a difficult question.
I ask difficult questions. I expect
It's-
answers.
I think the thing that excites me the most is being able to leave with a checklist
Right.
and talk to the experts, because that's actionable information. Leaving an event and not feeling overwhelmed is rare. How many events have you gone to and you go, I got 1,000 ideas, but I don't know what to do next, and then you go and the phone rings and it's completely out of your mind. That is what we're trying to set up so that that doesn't happen. So you leave plan A, plan B, plan C, checklists, and you can stay on track. That excites me because it's very easy to get pulled by this particular person discuss something.
And is this how you made your business so successful?
I would say this is what we're all students trying to learn. When I've done a good job, I've achieved a lot more than when I haven't. But I can't say that I'm an expert at that. Okay. I can say I'm a student like everyone else.
All right, now Libertex, your company that you started, that's on Western Avenue in
Yes.
Albany near Crossgates.
We're opposite the Crossgates Mall. We're a
Right.
technology service company.
Well, but one of the components, I guess, on a basic level is that you fix computers.
We do repair work on site, remotely, and at our depot. Yes.
Okay.
All three.
Okay, thank you.
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate your time.
I appreciate your.
We're out of time, but Larry, it's been a really educational, and I hope all our viewers that watch us will take advantage of this beautiful seminary. Like you say, it's free, and the poster is there. They saw it, and maybe Mark will come. Maybe you'll take me too over here.
We'll
Man,
go.
I'd like to
Go to
for nonprofit.
smAlbany.org.
I did Eventbrite. I did.
Yeah,
I
and
registered.
sign, and maybe I'll get a little prayer from you,
right.
and I look forward to you being able to attend.
Well, we only wish you a lot of success, and like you say, not only success, but with good health.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.